Smartcarb SC2 for my 2017 KTM 300. Hey, what's up guys, Rado here, and yes, today I'm going to install this Smartcarb SC2 on my KTM 300, and there is a good reason for that. If you recall, I'll put video below in the description. I built a YZ250 about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, and on that build I actually use SC2 for the YZ250, and I was actually running two carburetors for the YZ250. I had a stack key-in, nicely jetted with jetting, and then I had also this SC2, and I was actually expecting with the Smartcarb SC2, because you're getting that adjustability, right? The carburetor will adjust to the elevation and to the temperature and all that. So I was expecting that I need to give up a little bit of the snap, a little bit of the power to get all those other benefits with the Smartcarb SC2. So I was kind of expecting that on the YZ250. But to my surprise, comparing well jetted key-in and the Smartcarb SC2 on the YZ250, and you can see the video below, I'll put a link there. To my surprise, the SC2 actually felt a little bit more fun. So, you know, with that said, you don't have to touch it if you set it correctly and if you have everything correct for your bike. And these guys usually send it already dialed in for you guys if you give them enough information. So this one should be set for my bike. Today we are going to try to install it and start it and see how it runs. We're not gonna ride it today, but in this video I'll show you what you need to look for and how to make sure that this carburetor is installed correctly. So this is how everything arrives, nicely in a box, stacked in with some extra parts, fuel line and things you might need for installation. And also you do have a long explanation how to install this carburetor and how to tune it. That's really good. And this right here is the carburetor. I chose to have the nice anodized orange float ball because it's a KTM, and I decided to go with 36 millimeters. You guys might ask why. Well, I talked to the guys from Smartcarb and I told them how I ride, what kind of trails, and they kind of know my riding from my videos, so they recommended to go with this. It will have better bottom, and those 300 engines, they, for kind of riding I do, they like 36 millimeter more than 38. If I would be wide open all day long on the desert and you know, doing some hill climbs all day long, then probably 38 would be better. But we decided to go with this one, and that I think will suit my KTM really well and also my riding. And right here I wanted to show you this. This is probably one of the most important parts of your installation. There's a picture of your air boot where the carburetor connects to the air box, and there is this opening right here. So majority of the air boxes, they have the rubber too big. They would block half of this hole right there, and this hole actually is adjusting your metering on the carburetor. So if you block this with your boot with the rubber on the air box, carburetor will not work properly. So the most important part of this installation is to make sure that this passage is clear. If not, then you need to get the Dremel and just kind of grind it on the top, or I think I'll get a knife and I'll just cut out that little piece of rubber on my air boot. My bike is ready for installation right now. I think I took everything I needed to. As you can see, I don't have bolts here on the bottom of my subframe, so I can now lift the subframe and I can have more room to work on the carburetor. I still have my old key in there, so I'll be removing that, and then I'll be checking my air boot, and I'm pretty sure that on these KTMs there is this a little ring inside the air boot that I will have to cut on the top, the little opening. I'm not sure you can see it here. So this top piece right here, we need to trim that a little bit, but no worries, we're just trimming the inside of an air boot. We're not gonna cut anything from the top, not from the outside of the boot, but if you look closely inside, like there is maybe like a ½ inch in or 1 centimeter, there is another rim that we need to just, right on the top, we need to do a little notch. All right, let me give you a better look with the carburetor already in there. As you can see there on the top, we are blocking it just a little bit, tiny bit right there. All right guys, so I had to get a little bit better access So I actually removed my subframe completely and I put it on top of the bike. And now we are trying to trim the top of the air boot. I'm just using a simple knife. And I'm trying to cut this a little bit off. And just be careful, don't cut too much. Just little by little. I'm gonna trim it a little bit. That's what I did on YZ and it worked fine. But I'm sure you can do a nicer job. Just like that. And it's not gonna change the way your airbox works, even if you put your different carburetor pack. So no worries. So it didn't take that long, and I think this is sufficient. You can tell what I did right there. Just cut maybe like 1 inch, maybe a little bit more than that, wide, and just remove the little rim. You can see it right here, it's still there, and here is missing. Alright, so the carburetor is in just for measuring the openings now. It's not installed yet. I just want to be able to see if the openings are clear. So right there you can see everything is fine. That's how it should look. You guys, you don't have to take your subframe completely off as I did, but it's easier, and I like to work on the stuff when you have a lot of access. If you have a good Dremel with a long bit, you should be able to do it just with lifting your subframe on these 2 bolts. And also I didn't mention I had to remove the silencer to be able to move the subframe. So this carburetor came already set up for my bike. I told them exactly what kind of mods I have on the bike, reed forward, I have architect head, what elevation, what fuel I'm using, and it's actually part of your package right here. They're gonna write down the exactly how many clicks, exactly where is your idle and all that. So this should be plug and play. Let's see how that goes. I replaced my cable about 6 months ago when I was building this bike, so I'm gonna use existing one. But if yours is several years old, it's not a bad idea to maybe get a brand new one. You can also pick it up from your local dealer. You can go on PureMoto.com and check their website and see what your local dealer has in stock, and then you can just drive down the hill and pick it up. This goes right here. I believe there's a 10mm on the top. Alright, that's good. Make sure it all sits where it's supposed to, just like that. That looks good. Now when you install this slide into the carburetor, you need to make sure that it will sit all the way on the bottom. You need to hear that the metallic click, that this thing sits on the bottom there, like that. There is a little opening there, that's fine, but it should sit right on the bottom. Sometimes if your cable is too short, your adjustment is too short, and this is already like a little bit, your throttle is a little bit on, then it will be difficult to adjust it. It will be in a high RPM when you start it. So this is how it's supposed to look when it's on the neutral position. Oh yeah, make sure they go in freely. You don't want to cross thread these. That looks pretty good. So at this point we are pretty much ready to install the carburetor on the bike, and then we'll put everything back together, our subframe, we'll put the silencer on, we'll connect the fuel line to the carburetor from the tank, and should be ready to fire it up. We are ready to fill the carburetor. One thing they say is to pull the choke up as you are filling the carburetor initially. So we're gonna do just that, and then turn the choke back Or maybe we can leave it on for the first start. All right, let's go. Alright guys, we'll finish it outdoors. My garage got a little smoky. As you could see and hear, the bike runs pretty good. It started first push of a button, we just fill up the carburetor, we pull the choke up, fill up the carburetor, then hit the button and everything started. I just let it run a little bit outdoors. It's like 11 p.m, it's super dark, so we're not gonna ride it today, and we couldn't really warm it up properly without riding, right? But it just ran out a little bit and it was holding the idle, so I'm expecting this bike to run pretty good once it's out on the trails and warmed up properly and, you know, all that good stuff. It's set up for my bike. I told them exactly what I'm running in the bike, so they set the clickers and everything accordingly. Alright guys, if you are installing SC2, these are the steps you need to follow. Most important, make sure that your air boot, I don't know which bike you have, but on most KTMs and some Japanese bikes, if you install the carburetor in the air boot and then you remove the air filter and you look through the air boot, you will see that you are blocking those holes on the top a little bit, so you need to cut it out and make sure that your passage is clear and you will be getting all that air and your carburetor will be metering properly. Other than that, make sure that your slider sits all the way on the bottom when you don't have any throttle on, and you should be good to go. One little thing I want to mention is that I'm doing this video while I am COVID positive. It doesn't really bother me too much. My voice is a little bit different, but I feel okay. I just had some pain in my muscles for like a couple of days, but still have enough strength and energy to do the videos for you guys and also for me, because I like to do it too. So I should be fine within a couple of days, and then we'll go for a ride and we'll have a lot of fun on these bikes. If you guys have the same carburetor, share it below in the comments. Let me know how you like Smartcarb SC2, and don't forget, whatever you do, stay motivated. See you guys later.